Good morning and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing an after action review of the first round of Britcar. Let's go! So as I said in the intro, we're going to be doing an after action review of the first round of Britcar, where I did the first round of Against the Grain, and we'll talk about that shortly. But before we crack on with that, as usual, here I have a Hot Wheels car. Comment below what Hot Wheels car you think that is. I'm not the biggest fan of this particular one, but I bought it because it was a reminder of a specific day. I bought it the same day that I watched an RWB build being built, and I'll link that above as well, and I'll link in description. I'll link it up here somewhere. But yeah, that was a cool build. I thought this would be quite a good video for a bit of insight for you guys and girls out there, ladies and gents, that might be interested in what is it like, what sort of things that I got up to, what kit I used, any lessons learned, that sort of stuff. I didn't manage to get any behind the scenes stuff whilst I was out and about. Some people did get some behind the scenes stills of me doing things like interviews and stuff like that, but which I don't have at the moment, unfortunately. But I just thought this would be quite good to give you guys and girls, like I said, a bit of an insight into what I do. So the kit that I used then is going to go straight into that. I used mainly throughout. I used the R5C. Nope, that's what's filming at the moment. This is the R5 Mark II, and I've also got the R5 Mark I next to me. Mainly used the 24-70 2.8. I've also got a 50mm 1.2, which I've made a review about, which I'll link in the description below or link above. Also, as you can see on here, I used the K and F filter, a 3N1, ND polarizing, and Pro Mist. Such a good filter, such a good filter. Luckily, I've obviously got enough time to switch between 82mm step-up rings and the 77mm step-up rings. And then we'll go on to the second camera before I talk about audio. The other camera that I had was the R5 Mark I with, I have a 24-70, and I also used, what did I say, 24-70? I meant 70-200, and I've also got the 100-400. I only used the 100-400, to be honest, right at the start, which I'll put up on screen now, because one of the shots that I could get, which is really quite good, was looking down the lens, obviously, looking down the track for the, what do you call it, the start, right at the start of the actual race. So that was cool. I'm really happy with these, actually. And I also used, pretty frustrating, I don't actually have a picture of this because I'm using it at the moment, but I've also got a, I can't remember what it's called. I'll put the I'll put some text up on screen at the moment of the brand. It's a well-known brand. I can never remember. It's this German brand beginning with S. Anyway, really good tripod. I don't really use tripods that much, which I should do more often, because I'm usually legging it around on my own, trying to get as much as I can, rather than staying on one corner trying to get stills or some clips here and there. But anyway, the other camera that I used, which I'll talk about now, is the DJI Action 5. Great bit of kit, colors are ace. I usually use it with D-Log-M profile. I can mix it with the Osmo Pocket 3 if I use that as well, but to be honest, I just use that particular profile anyway because I just really like the way that the colors render from that codec. But yeah, great bit of kit. So I used that for the first time inside the car since joining the Motorsport media team, or the Army sports car media team, shall we say. Yeah, anyway, great bit of kit, and I'm going to try and use it in loads of different random ways that I can. Also, what I used it for was the pit stop POV, which I'll link up here, and right at the start of the intro of Britcar, I used this for a wheel gun shot. So I'm going to try and get as many different like creative stuff throughout the season, basically. So stand by for round 2 at Oulton Park. Yeah, excited to use this one. So yeah, like I said, stand by. And then audio, which I'll come on to now. For the interviews, I used the DJI mics. These are the Mark I DJI Mark I microphones, my own ones. Usually pretty good, to be honest, tried and tested. I did have some dramas during the interviews with loud noises, as in the wheel guns and stuff, because the guys and girls were still working on the car. But normal run and gun stuff, for the limited amount of time, I used this Rode Video Pro, whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called, but great bit of kit. I'll link all of this kit that I mentioned. I'll link in a description, and if I don't, if you can't find it, then comment below and I'll send you a link, an affiliate link. So that's pretty cool. But anyway, great bit of kit for that. And then for a new microphone, which I haven't actually done a review about yet, but I don't think I have. Maybe I have done a review. Maybe I've written it down that I was going to do a review about it, but I'll grab it anyway. It is the Sennheiser. I'm sure I'd done a video about it. How strange. Sennheiser MKE 200, I believe it's called. So many codes. But yeah, this little bad boy. So MKE 200. Yeah, good guess. I definitely need to do a review about that because yeah, great bit of kit. Let me just put the windsock back on. Bear with. But yeah, pros and cons to this little bad boy, but I'll do that in a separate video. But it did do quite well. One drama that I did have, which I need to address, is that I've got my R5 Mark II set to 4 tracks of audio, and I only want either one stereo track or one mono track, so that when I'm bringing it on the timeline and I've got so many different tracks to play with, I'm not bringing on 4 bloody bits of audio track that's just getting in the way and annoying me every single time I only need one track. Professionals amongst you will probably be like, what the hell, this guy's absolute chip shop, but I don't know, I just want one track. Sounds good, so I'm happy with that. But anyway, it took me a while to distinguish which track was coming from. I had to go back into the menu, which track was coming from this particular microphone. So I've addressed that now. I've addressed that now anyway in the menus. But that's the microphone that I was using. I'm just going to waffle otherwise. And then rigging options, other than the tripods that I mentioned, I have this low-key shoulder thing that's actually really good. I really like it. Basically, the camera goes on here and then you just put it into your shoulder. I got issued this ages ago. I believe the company went out of business years ago, but I swear by this. It's just really easy when I've got a camera strap as well on my camera. It's just really easy to just do run and gun, stick it in the shoulder, and just crack on. And then rigging related, as usual, I have my DJI RS4 Pro. Really good gimbal, but I'm still kind of, I don't know, I'm still and ahhing between this and the Zhiyun crane that I've got. I've still got my Zhiyun, I haven't sold it yet. I really do like this gimbal, but it has its pros and cons, but I can't demonstrate it at the moment. Like I said, I'll do it in the video, but that the Sennheiser microphone, the reason why I got that was because I can stick it, oh, you can't see it there, but underneath where the raven eyes are supposed to be, you can stick it underneath there. But yeah, it's just mega having that audio underneath the gimbal, so that I can still get fairly good audio whilst I'm using the gimbal. Because for me, having good audio is essential for these videos. There's nothing worse than having a bad voiceover, and there's only so much recovering you can do to a voiceover, which I had to do for these interviews during this particular documentary filming over those 2 days. So one of the biggest challenges that I had was trying to juggle trying to think of the edit in my head and the planning that I'd done. I'd written down notes and stuff, but I didn't really do a shot list because doing documentary things are quite I like to shoot natural. I don't want to be too constrained. And I had a few things in my head that obviously want to do the free practice and want to do qualifying. I made notes to make sure that when the guys did do qualifying, that I'd made sure that I got the time and the standings there and then, because it's not something necessarily that is going to be like the end position, the racing position will be written in history, if that makes sense. It'd be written down, but the qualifying thing won't. But I knew that I wanted the qualifying time for the edit. Initially, in the edit, if you have seen it, then you'll know what I'm on about. But if you haven't, then go and see it now. Like and subscribe, all those cool things. But I wanted to do almost like a Guy Ritchie short, sharp qualification thing. But instead, because of a piece of music that I found, instead of probably did like a minute, maybe 45 seconds. Well, it's just over a minute, I think. A little sequence to do the qualification round, because qualification is really short. The qualifying lap rally, rather, or the quali, as people will say in the industry. It's quite short, so I didn't want it to be too much of a main thing. I just wanted it to be. So quali's obviously supposed to be short, sharp, like in general. So then I wanted the edit to tell that story of being short and sharp, and a bit of a build up. So I think I did all right. But comment below if you think I did that all right, to be honest. And I told the story well. Another one of the challenges I had in the interview setups. When I did the Burkett relay last year was my first run and gun interview style stuff for Motorsport. I had loads of kit that I wanted to put up, and it worked. And because they were outside, I didn't have any light that was falling on the guys. Dramas that I had this time round, the guys were still working on the car in the background, which is fine because audio I think I knew would be alright, and I did test audio anyway. There's a few things I had to turn off. There's music I had to turn off. There's a generator outside I had to turn off. But general banging and crashing during the interviews was doable. Didn't see it being too much of a drama. But lighting was an issue, and I'm still to this day not happy really with the interview setups that I had with the lighting. I think for Oulton Park and the foreseeable, I'm going to try. I think what I might do is either completely turn off the lights for the garage, the guys working on the car, and just give them a video light that's daylight balanced. That would be a good option. The trouble with that is, and the reason why I couldn't have done that anyway, was because we're sharing a garage with another team, and they were still working on their car as well late at night. That's another challenge. It was like 7:30 at night when we're doing these interviews, and the guys are knackered. But credit to them, they all did really well anyway. Most of the guys haven't been interviewed before, so it's really good. I got some really good answers from them. But yeah, lighting. The drama I had was I think they must have been fluorescent lights. I can't remember now. I'm trying to think of the colour. They weren't. I don't think they were tungsten. Either way, they're disgusting lighting. And trying to edit afterwards is an absolute nightmare. I basically had to use a few power windows, a few skin tone isolations in DaVinci. Yeah, it's just a nightmare in the edit, and I knew it would be, but I didn't think it'd be that bad because my eyes. I thought it was alright. I didn't have my monitor for the Britcar. Various reasons for that. I just didn't set it up. So it's quite hard to scientifically see the colours. I should really have the monitor. But I always feel like I'm under pressure on my own doing interview setups. So I think I did alright, to be honest, with what I got. And there's a few colleagues that I used to work with outside of this motorsport scene who've praised my interview setups, but I'm my own worst enemy, always downplaying stuff. So I think it did alright. I know there's room for improvement with the lighting for sure. One thing I definitely want to bring is my C stand that's over there that you can't see at the moment. And I don't know what they would be, a 6x4, the pop-up backgrounds, but I want to use it to flag, basically, to try and flag it overhead so that it's off camera, but the guys are shielded from the disgusting light in the background, and I can get decent clean light, but we'll see what happens. And audio nightmares. Always going to get audio nightmares, but majority of it's alright, to be honest. Majority of it is recoverable. And there's certain workflow practices that I'm going to do, personal workflow practices, the camera setup, all that stuff, to try and make it easier for me. But it's always learning, because pretty much everything that I'm doing at the moment is still new to me. So yeah, it's all good. One of the notes here says, how physically knackered was I running around with all kit on a weekend with a heavy kit? It wasn't too bad, actually. There's one particular moment where I'd legged it all the way underneath, like around the track, like underneath the track on the infield. I got all the way to a corner on the inside. I would have got a decent shot, I think, of it coming round, of the Janetta coming round. And as soon as I got there, there's a red flag, and that was the end of the practice. So I had to go all the way back. And my DJI Action cam was playing at the time, so I had to message the guys in the garage to ask them to turn it off, so that I don't have like an hour bit of footage taken up. I only need bloody 5 seconds of it, but it is what it is. So another challenge that I had, I made use of the free practice on the Friday, because I haven't got accreditation for 5 out of the 8 races, maybe 6. So basically I've got accreditation for Silverstone and Spa, but none of the other tracks, because of the governing body. I'm not going to name and shame them, but the governing body that's sorting out accreditation wouldn't let me get accredited, because I'm working with a team and not basically freelancing on my own, getting loads of cars that they can use. But they just said they don't do it when you're following just one team, which is a bit of a pain, which meant that I basically had to stay in the pits, in the actual garage, not on the pit lane or on the pit wall, in the morning of the race day, qualification, free practice, all that good stuff. And majority of the shots as well on the day were through the fence, which is a bit of a pain in the ass. So yeah, it is what it is. That was a bit of a pain. But some of the main highlights, I would say, off the top of my head, would be the in-car footage that I got. I do actually want to set up some different camera footage setups in Oulton Park. I'm going to test something out with the camera. We'll see what happens, how much space I've got. What I don't want to do is obstruct the guys, because at the end of the day, they don't need a massive camera in their face whilst they're trying to concentrate. So we'll see what happens. I'm really happy with the Action cam, especially with the JC's shot, which I'll put up on screen now, because I poked it a bit close around. The lighting was really nice. It just worked out really well. It's a bit too wide, I'd say, for Josh. Sometimes you can get stuck in with a background and concentrate too much on what the background looks like, and not concentrate on the fact that the subject is a part of the scene, or the main part of the scene. Not necessarily try and go as wide as you can, but I don't know. It was alright. I'm happy with that. And then the 100 to 400 shots, like I said, shooting down, all the way down. I'm happy with that. And first time panning properly with this new tripod that I've got as well. So some of the shots of that was all right, but we'll see. The challenge that I have is that I haven't, other than Silverstone and now Donington, I haven't shot at any of these races that this, especially not Spa. I've never shot at any of these races, so it's constantly finding out and test and adjust on the day before. So it's all new to me, but I think I'm doing all right so far. Let me know comment below if you think I'm doing all right as well. So I'm looking forward to Oulton Park then. Things that I'm going to be doing. To be honest, like I said, the interview setups I want to change. I'm quite happy, to be honest, with how most of the stuff, almost all the stuff, is gone so far. It all depends on access, track layout, weather, definitely weather. I am actually, to be honest, I'm actually, dare I say it, looking forward to if it rains. It's going to be an absolute nightmare, and the kit is going to be an absolute nightmare. I've now just got a new rain cover, but it's just going to look so good, I think, with a wet track with lights, reflections. It's just going to look so good, so much more dynamic. But yeah, anyway, looking forward to Oulton. I think free practice, I basically just got to try and get as much as I can. I want to try and get as much as I can on the Friday before, when you've got a bit more free time. And I really want to get on the track walk as well. A bit of a nightmare last time because of just time. Just didn't have enough time to get track walk or get some setup stuff with the guys. I want to get some setup in-car stuff and some setup, like putting on the helmet, putting on just different bits to try and mix it up between each episode. I don't want every episode to look exactly the same and have the same blueprint. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll obviously plan for that in the next couple of weeks, because I'll be there in 2 weeks, I would say, and you'll probably see this the weekend that I'm actually there. So we'll see. So two extra things for lessons learned. If it's any advice, basically, if you guys or girls want to do what I'm doing and film a documentary, you need good team access. Ideally, obviously, you need accreditation, like I've said before. Recce the area, just prep the questions before, prep your kit way before. Like, I've done quite a few interviews, so I knew the setup that I wanted. It's just test and adjust in the garage setup, really. But you don't want to get on the scene and not know how your kit works. Like, knowing how your kit works, like off by heart, if that makes sense, just second nature, just so that you don't have to worry about it. You're not going, oh, how come that's changed the ISO and not the shutter speed, and knowing where your buttons are, autofocus buttons, manual focus buttons, just loads. Just prep. You cannot prep enough with your cameras. There's so many things, so many options, and the more you do, the more everything becomes second nature, and you can focus on telling the story and concentrating on getting the shots and the composition rather than worrying about how your kit works. So that's one thing I learnt massively from Donington, is the initial bits of kit, like the tripod, the gimbal, the microphone, all that stuff, how it can work for me and how I can work around the kit's constraints. So massive top tip for that. And then one of the biggest challenges and lessons learned is it's not even lessons learned, and I knew it was going to be a beast. It's just the editing. It took me 2 weeks to edit, on and off. Some of it was on leave, some of it was after hours at work, some of it like one day I did like at work, in work time, which is fine because it's a work project. But to be honest, the majority of the stuff was either on a weekend or on leave when my wife was asking me to do things, which is not a drama. It's just that I try and play the happy medium card, to be honest, and yeah, do what I can when I can with what I can or what I've got. So yeah, editing is a beast, but I've got quite a bit of stuff now, like intro, lower thirds, like names, everything else like that. A lot of the stuff, loads of things, little templates. It's mainly building the story now. The majority of the little niff-naff and trivia bits that are like add-on assets, I've got for Oulton Park. I need to do it for Spa, and I've got it for Spa actually, but I need to do it for some of the other tracks, but I've got time for that. But Oulton Park, we're in a good place with intro and things like that. So we'll see. I'm quietly optimistic. Well, that's pretty much it. I say that's pretty much it. I've waffled on a lot, but I just want to say, obviously, a massive thanks to the guys and girls of the Army sports car racing team. obviously, if they weren't doing what they were doing, how they were doing it, then I'd have nothing to film. And I say that every time I've worked with them. It's like my third proper race now that I've worked with them, or event anyway, not race. And I'd have nothing to film if they weren't good at what they did. So yeah, that was quality. So yeah, thanks again if you're watching this. So yeah, check out my Instagram, Petrolhead Productions UK. Had to put the UK because someone had already nabbed Petrolhead Productions on Instagram. But yeah, have a look at that. Got a few reels on there. But I'll try and make some more reels when I'm not filming this, and I'm back to work in like 2 days. So that's a bit of a pain. But I'm trying to do what I can with what I've got. I have a microphone. This microphone edit to do first. And if you like how this audio sounds, I'll link in the description below of what microphone this is. But yeah, this microphone's sick. And if you haven't seen that video, I'll link that above about a review about this microphone. So yeah, it's a pretty cool microphone. Yeah, the edit that we're talking about is already out, so make sure you like that. Support this channel, support the Army Sports Car Racing Team channel, which I'll also link below. There's so many links. Just make a note of all of these links. But yeah, get involved, share, save, send it to your friends and family, like and subscribe, all of those cool things. And as always, thanks very much for watching. I shall catch you in the next one.